All right, it's that time of the week again, Wednesday. From our studios, wherever they may be, we're back, we're live, and you are listening to Beyond Sight and Sound Metal Detecting and Treasure Hunting Radio for you, the always valued and appreciated listener. Let's see who we've got rolling in the chat tonight already. We've got Suki, I see Strikers in the house, Alfu. Let's see here. Utah Nichols. Daddy's in the house. Shout out to Mr. Don Botting. For those who saw the tether rings at the CWPPO event, those were donated courtesy of Daddy. So make sure and give him a shout out in the chat there. Let him know thanks. We appreciated them. Very cool items to have if you're looking for ways to accessorize your gear. DetectingDoodads.com, probably the way to go. He's got camera mounts, he's got tether rings, he's got finds displays. Great guy to deal with, too. I use a camera mount on my CTX from him. I use the Doodads tether rings. I've even got a frame for the GoPro from Detecting Doodads. Great guy to work with. But we should probably get on to other things here. And tonight, the Derp Bandit is not available again. In lieu, as always, Leighton's willing to sit down and have a chat with everybody, so we are in here tonight with none other than Mr. Leighton Harrington. How's it going, Leighton?
It's going pretty good, Josh. Good evening.
Good evening to you. How's the weather out there?
Yeah, it's funny. I was just going to ask you the same thing. Guess we're on the same thought tonight. Boy, I'll tell you what, this week in the 70s, I feel like it's an Indian summer.
Oh, yeah. I wanted to get out and hunt this weekend so bad, but I had some other things going on, so
yeah,
maybe next weekend, but
yeah.
If I'm lucky, the weather will be just as nice. I doubt that's going to be the case for me, though, but we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what's going on.
It's supposed to be like in the 70s tomorrow, 70s on Friday. Feels like spring coming into summer again already.
Yeah, I heard it was going to be 70s pretty much all week.
That's crazy. I mean, you know what? I'll take it while we can get it, because I know in 2 months from now you're going to be hearing me chattering my teeth over here.
Right. Yeah, once the ground locks up here, I'm done. It's time to clean the machine up and start preparing for next season.
Yeah, that's one good thing about living on the ocean. You know, in the summertime, it kind of keeps you cool, but in the winter, believe it or not, it almost works in reverse. It keeps you, especially right on the ocean like this, it keeps you almost on the warmer side. So we're able to detect right through the winter if you play your cards right.
Right, that's true. Very
down
true.
On the beach, that's all.
And I see that Mr. Chris Engel has joined us as well in the chat, so nice to see him again. But tonight, we've actually got, hopefully the weather's doing okay for him there, too. I believe it is. Tonight, we've actually got Mr. Vic Tucker. How is it going,
Howdy.
Vic?
It's going good. You guys need to come down to Virginia. I get to hunt all year round.
Oh, I'd love to do that.
Hey, Vic, did you hear that? That was my car starting right now, buddy.
Yeah, I think I heard it.
There you go.
Luckily for me, the ground doesn't get too frozen here. So I'm able to detect all year round. While you guys have got cabin fever, I'm still posting.
Well, at least we know we'll have somebody's finds we can look at.
Right.
Yeah.
It keeps me motivated for the springtime.
Oh, yeah, then it starts to warm up again. You hit the ground running, going, I've got time to make up for.
Yeah, I almost feel bad for you, Leighton, when I see 10 foot of snow. That then you start posting all these amazing finds, and I don't feel so bad for you anymore.
Yeah, I know, I hear you. But I'll tell you what, in the wintertime, believe it or not, we are still, and I'm not the only one, there's about 10 of us that actually still are in the water, using our 6mm suits, headgear. The arms are covered up with insulated gloves that go up all the way to our shoulders. And so we're out in the water, believe it or not, even at that time of the year. January, February, it's not uncommon.
Right.
Do you have the, after, I'm assuming you're using the CTX in the water, do you use the aftermarket O-ring?
As a matter of fact, I do. It's a black one, and it also comes with another ring that goes right where the fire wire goes into the front of the head.
Yeah, I've got that installed on mine also.
Yeah. You know, when I first got it, when I put it in and installed it, I noticed the difference right away just using the clips. I had a hard time
you can tell the
the clips.
difference.
Oh yeah.
I don't have that set up on.
Beach.
I don't have that set up on mine, but I do have a double O-ring set up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, when I was at the beach this summer, actually I met and hunted with Al Foods, and he's listening.
He's in the chat.
Yeah,
speaking of which,
and I had the O-rings on, and I've done mine plenty of times. And I was confident they done well.
Right.
Really impressed.
Speaking of which, I see a new name in the chat. I see Digging with Eddie, a fellow Ohio hunter.
Good evening, Eddie.
Yeah. I don't believe I've ever seen his name in the chat before. So we've got some new listeners dropping by.
Welcome aboard.
Definitely nothing wrong with that.
No.
So, what do you say we get down to the meat and potatoes of it, as they say? How long have you been in the hobby, Vic?
I started June of 2013. I'm a relative newbie, if you will. I got started. The reason I got started was I've always, it's crossed my mind from time to time, and I was in at my wife's dad's house, and he had an old, I don't know what it was, maybe a bounty hunter, and I took it out in the yard for about 10, 15 minutes and put it up, and a couple months after that, I was watching Diggers come on, and I watched one episode, and I watched another one, and I don't know, it just lit a fire under me, and I went and got an AT Pro, and I used it for a little bit, and I found my first silver with it, and it hooked me. And then I graduated, and I got an E-Track. A month later, I got a CTX, and I've been hooked ever since.
Wait, okay, so it was about 2 years ago you got your AT Pro.
Yeah.
Maybe hung from a tree or two while you were using it.
Yeah.
Got your first silver. What was that, by the way?
It was a 64 Washington, 8 inches down, right beside a creek bed.
Nice. And then, how long had you had the AT Pro before you went to an E-Track?
Well, I had the AT Pro, I would say 2 months. And once I found that, I didn't know what I wanted to do, because, I do live in a Civil War area. I didn't know if I wanted to be a relic hunter or a coin shooter. And once I found that silver quarter, it was like the most amazing thing to me ever. And I thought about the person who dropped that coin way back when. Mm-hmm. And so I got to, got on Facebook, and I got to seeing. Well, before I got on Facebook, I'm a member of a forum called Friendly Metal Detecting, and there's a bunch of guys, just massive amounts of silver, and they were all using mine labs. And I was like, man, I gotta get one of those. And so, sweet talk to wife. I think I'll wax the car like a week, every day for a week. Clean the house, done whatever I had to do. Well, I got the E-Track, and then everybody was talking about the CTX. And I was like, man, I gotta get a CTX now.
Oh, victim of timing.
After about a million honeydews later, I got the CTX, and I've had it ever since. And I use them both. I use them equally. And then I did get a Technetics T2, and I don't have that anymore. But for the kind of hunting I do, lawns, parks, my labs just suit me.
Right. Yeah, I imagine that just after getting the E-Track, that had to have been quite a list of things to do to pull that CTX off.
yeah, it was quite a lift. I'm still doing them, actually.
Oh, well then. I guess we should just be glad you were able to get away to come to Ohio and hunt with all of us.
Oh yeah, I don't think I could have went with that. The wife wanted to go, so I had to bring her along. But she enjoyed it. She enjoyed meeting everybody, and I think she had as good time as I did.
Well, that's a plus.
Yeah.
Hey, congratulations on finding those coins too, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, come on. What was 30 seconds in and you had a large scent?
Literally, I was with Keith Tucker, and we drove up there, and we were a little late because, you know, when we had the breakfast thing that morning, breakfast wasn't ready, so me and Keith, we said, we're going to go to McDonald's, and so we went to McDonald's. He had to get gas, and so we were running a little behind. We pull up, and I literally get out of the truck, turn on the CTX, do a noise cancel, put my four-wheel down, and I got a 1245 at 7 inches. And I said, no way. Dig down, and it was a large scent.
And I'm sure there had to have been some people looking around going, what, really? Can it be that easy?
Yeah, I had to run up the hill. I found Eddie Smith, found him, and I was so excited, and he got it. If you watch his video, he's got me on video, and he ID'd it for me because it was so clustered. I couldn't see. I didn't have a toothpick on me. I didn't have a flashlight to look at it real good, and so I was pretty excited. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I do subscribe to Eddie, so I'm sure I will see that video.
Yeah. It figures the coin guy goes to Ohio looking for relics and he finds coins.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, that's the way it goes. But you've always done well with your coin finds, it seems like. I'm sure Leighton's probably seen some of your posts.
Oh, yeah. Of course I have. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I'm kind of at a disadvantage. Where I live, there's 1,500 people. I don't live in a big city to go. And there's one park. I don't have multiple parks to choose from. And I've about knocked on every door imaginable. And it's like, at this point, it's getting hard to find new spots. It's just getting really, really hard.
I feel for you. I'm sure this winter I won't when you're posting nice finds, but...
yeah, I'll post something. If it's even zinc, I'm going to post something.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine not being able to hunt.
And I see that we've got Kurt from the Hoover Boys in the house.
Yeah.
Hey, Kurt.
Welcome,
I saw the picture of Kurt and Vic on the internet, and everybody else looked so small next to Kurt, or Vic for that matter. They actually look normal in that picture.
I think Kurt's got a little more weight on him than I do.
Well, but you guys are about the same height the way it looked.
We're about the same height, but I believe he could beat me in arm wrestling contest.
Well, and he's one of them. I'm sure people didn't come up to him going, I thought you'd be bigger. I mean, he's a big guy.
I didn't realize how big Kurt was until I saw him. I said, he's a giant. That man, he's a big man.
Right. I asked him one night at the lodge, I said, so how does it feel? He said, what? I said, being the first one to know when it rains. Oh, well.
He's the kind of guy you don't want to really piss off.
You don't want to leave an hour with him.
No, absolutely. I'm just perfectly content with staying on that man's good side.
That's right. No wonder why he could swing that big pole all day long for 9 hours.
That's right. Absolutely.
Hey, Vic, I wanted to ask you, you just touched a little bit on, permissions and stuff like that, knocking on doors. How do you go about doing that, and what's your ratio, for yeses and nos?
Yeah, well, like I was saying, I'm at a disadvantage on places I can hunt, but the advantage of living in a small town is I work at a vet clinic, and 90% of the people in my area go to the vet clinic I work at, so I meet the local residents every day. People know who I am. Perfect. So when I go knock on the door, while they may not recognize who I am, I tell them that I work over at the vet clinic, and they're like, oh, okay, I take my dogs there, and usually that gets me in every time. My ratio of success is probably 9 out of 10.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's
90%
awesome.
is a good success ratio. So
Yeah.
it sounds like, it's got its pros and cons, but it's all kind of evening out in the wash, basically.
Yeah, it does.
Let's see here. We've got a caller. Go ahead, caller. Who do we have?
Hey, brother. This is Craig Stryker from Illinois. How you doing, buddy?
Stryker, what's up, buddy?
I am doing just awesome. How's your guest tonight?
Well, I think he's doing all right. What would you say, Vic?
I don't know, hanging in there.
You hanging in there, Vic?
Trying to hold my own.
Fair middling.
You find any good stuff in the water lately?
Actually, the only water hunting I've done has been at the beach. I haven't progressed to the water yet. I've thought about it, and we have a old river called the Dan River where they say the Confederate troops dumped a bunch of ammunition when the Union troops came through. Because see, Danville is 30 minutes from me, and it was the last capital of the Confederacy.
Nice.
For 10 days. And they said that once they came down, that the Confederates dumped a bunch of ammunition and whatever into the Dan River. And I'd like to go search one day, make a project, but I haven't progressed to that yet.
Yeah, you'll get in there soon.
Well, yeah, definitely,
Yeah.
I would think. I mean, with a history like that, you can't pass it up.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's probably, it's one of the places that people haven't searched. Is, everybody's hunted every earthworks around here, and
Right.
the water's probably one of the last remaining places that many people haven't ventured into.
No, that sounds like a good spot to check out next year. Or this winter.
Yeah.
There you go.
If I was hardcore like Leighton, I don't have enough.
That's it.
Anyway.
Get that 6mm suit. Get it going, buddy.
That's right.
That's
Well,
right.
my winters, or probably your summers, it don't get 20 degrees. Usually 20 degrees, but as cold as it gets here.
Hey, and I'm sure Leighton will attest for this. You see a piece of gold in the scoop, it's amazing how quick that water temperature warms up.
Oh, it's a summer day. It's a summer day.
Yeah, that's a pretty awesome sight when you get your scoop and you start shaking the shells out and you see that gold ring there clanging.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's awesome. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. And I haven't talked to Josh in a while. It's been about a week, hasn't it, Josh?
Yeah, probably right around there. I believe last Wednesday
Something
morning.
like that. I had a nice to you and your listeners out there, Josh. I'm going to embarrass you.
Uh-oh.
I talked to Josh. Yeah, here it comes. I talked to Josh last week, and we were talking about he wants to raise money to get new equipment. And so I got his permission, and I set up a GoFundMe account for because we love Josh's show so much. We don't want it going anywhere. We don't want him to get Skype because the man's way too ugly to look at, but he's got a great voice. And so we kind of want to keep him right where he is. So, but I just want to do a shout out that it's on my site, it's on Josh's site, and anything you can do that would be great. Josh is going to use the money to get all new broadcast equipment, which would be awesome. And so I just want to do a shout out for Josh and tell him that a bunch of us got together and we're doing that for him.
Oh, well,
That's awesome, Stryker.
yeah, thank you very much, Stryker. It apparently there were some other people working behind the scenes with you on that, because when you called me right away, I got a message from a gentleman who I believe is in the chat now saying, I know who it is. I know who it is.
But anyway, it's like you got one of the best shows out there. I actually look forward to your show on Wednesday, and you always have great guests. And like I said, we just want to make sure that you stick around for a long time and keep up the good work, brother.
Well, thank you. Me and Leighton were actually discussing the frustration of camera issues before we went
Yes.
live.
Yes, we were.
Well, I certainly appreciate all that you do, Stryker, and the support, and thanks for the call.
Well, I appreciate what you do also. So you guys have a great night and a great show as usual.
You too, sir.
Have a good night, buddy.
Bye-bye.
Now, with these permissions that you were working on, you said you're running probably 9 out of 10. What does Vic Tucker do to procure permissions?
Well, I do a couple things. I always shave. I think appearance is 90% of my success. I never ever wear my gear to a door, because when you wear if you got your sheath on and you got your pinpointer hanging off, people, especially older women, might think you have a knife on your side or a gun or a weapon. So I always, when I approach the door, knock on it, I always step back about 10 or 15 feet. So I don't want to give people the impression that I'm right on the door and I'm a barge in. I always, step back off the step, and I always smile when I see somebody. I smile and I have my hands behind my back or at my side, and because I want to make them feel comfortable.
Right.
And
no sense in giving them an unnecessary heart attack or something.
Yeah. And when they come to the door, sometimes they'll. I've had old women in the 80s. As soon as they open the door, and they'll say, "Honey, come on in." And it depends. When I talk to somebody, it depends on who they are. If they're young, they're old, they're black, or white. You just have to know. I just have that. I don't know if it's a gift or what. I can read somebody as soon as I see them.
Right. It does help to have a knack of reading people, so to speak. 843, you're on the air. Who do we have?
It's me, Al Sue of Al's All Metal Detecting.
How's it going,
How you
Al?
doing, Al?
I'm doing super duper. Vic, real quick thing. I need you to come down here to South Carolina. I got some tough nuts I need cracking, and I know you're the man to get me the permissions. You are a master, sir.
It was an honor and a pleasure meeting you, Al. You're a great guy.
Thank you, brother.
I will warn every listener. If you ever meet Al Sue, and the man wants to shake your hand, turn around and run away.
Better be ready for a bear grip, huh?
Al Sue, we were sitting in the parking lot one morning getting ready to do a hunt, and I think we were talking about if you're out and you get robbed or whatever. Al Sue said, "Shake my hand." So, I stick my hand out there, and I'm not a small guy. I just grabs his hand, and he twists my hand and has me on my knees, and I can't even speak. I'm like, I can't say uncle or anything, and he's just laughing at me, that big laugh he's got, and I'm sitting on my knees going, please, stop. I mean, literally, it was the most excruciating pain I have ever experienced in my whole life.
Well, it sounds like Al doesn't have anything to be worried about in the field then.
Vic,
Not
great
at
to
all.
talk to you, buddy.
Oh, it was a great talking to you.
All right, you guys have a great night.
All right, we'll see you, Al. Yeah, being able to have, because it does take a bit of a knack to be able to read people a certain way, to kind of know how to maybe handle things or how to approach them. So that does come in handy for you, definitely, I'm sure.
Yes. I've knocked on doors, and I've had, let's say for instance, about a month ago, I had my hunting buddy with me, and he's an older guy. We knock on the door, and we're in a rougher part of town, and a young black man comes out the door, and he's got his music playing, and I'm like, "Oh, you're listening to such." I knew what he was listening to, so I got to just talking to him about the artist or whatever, and he's like, "Oh, yeah, you know about that?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And then I just got to talk with him, and my buddy's looking at me like I'm crazy. And the guy's like, "Go ahead, honey, do whatever you want to do." And my buddy's like, "I heard you talking that jive." And I said, "You got to know, you've got to adapt." to make
You
people,
gotta be versatile.
There you go, the versatility of a hunter, right, Leighton?
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, we
And
did a
I'm
big
not
show
going-
on that.
and I've knocked on doors, and I have a farmer in his 60s come out, and he's like, "What do you want?" And I'll tell him, "Oh, my wife, her dad, and you might know him. He has a big tobacco farm." And I'll throw out his name, and he's like, "Oh, I know him. I go to church with him." And he's like, "Yeah." He said, "Go ahead. You know, it's good to know people.
Right.
If you got people, you know, throw out names. If you know somebody that's well known in the community or big in the church."
Oh,
lot of times
absolutely. Networking is very, very handy for the door knocks.
Yeah, I've got a lot of permissions just from the people I know. Like just a while ago, before I come on the air, I had one of my hunting buddies say, "Oh, beside the radio station, there's 2 empty lots with these 2 big Victorians were." And we went over there and asked one day, and the guy was like, "No, I don't want nobody over there." Well, being that I work at the vet clinic, I know the on-air personality. I've known her for 14 years. And so I called her up, and I asked her about it, and she said, and she talked to the guy, and I got in, just because the people I know.
Nice.
So I got that permission. I'm going to be hunting pretty soon. It's two huge lots, and there's big concrete steps where the houses used to sit. And it's right beside the radio station. So,
Well, next time you see her, Vic, you better bring her a nice big fat apple pie, buddy.
yeah, I am.
Exactly. Or, make sure and drop her a card at Christmas.
Yeah.
So this is how
yeah.
we kind of fall to after you get the permission. A lot of times, what I'll do is, I know you touched base on it too a little bit, Vic. Was we always tell the person, if there's anything that you want to see or if you want to keep from the finds, by all means, it's yours. A lot of times, even when they say they don't want anything, when I come home, what I'll do is I'll make up a nice little shadow box of some of the stuff. If it's, duplicates, like more than one bullet or a couple of jackknives, I'll keep one, give one, and I'll make a nice little shadow box and present that person that gave us the permission, to do the farm or their property at a later time. And it certainly sometimes opens up doors. Like they may have a neighbor over when I'm doing it. Oh, gee, that's awfully nice of you. And then they'll say, maybe you can come over and do my neighbor's yard too. So it really does help by just giving a few little items back.
Oh, yeah,
I've
absolutely it does.
I've had a lot of experiences just like that. I was in town one day, and I was hunting this lady's house. Big, beautiful house. Her yard looked like a golf course. And when I went to knock on the door, I felt kind of foolish because I was thinking there's no way in the world these people will let me hunt their yard.
Right.
And I went up and I started talking to them, and I threw out where I worked. And they were like, "Oh, yeah, go ahead." Well, I noticed a big empty house right beside there, and it had a big no trespassing sign. And after I got through hunting, I went on the back deck, and I was talking to the homeowners a good hour, just talking, and they were, enjoying their company, and they were interested in the stuff I found, and we were just talking. And out of the blue, she says, "Well, I know the lady that owns the house beside this one, and it's been vacant since 1974. Nobody has lived in it.
Wow.
And they're very particular. They don't let anybody go over there." She goes, "I'm gonna give her a call and see if you can get over there." Well, about a week later, I get a phone call. I talked to so-and-so, and they said, have fun. And I think I ended up finding 7 or 8 silvers in the yard.
Wow, nice.
Just by being nice. I didn't even have to ask.
Wow.
I guess, when you impress people by the way you talk and present yourself, it really does help. Open up.
Well, it goes a long way. Yeah.
Right. Definitely. And it looks like we've got Relic Dirty Hands, Sam Waters, Swansea, and even Vicky Jackson in the chat. That's a new name to see in the chat. Welcome, Vicky.
We got some esteemed guests tonight.
Yeah. Looks like you've got quite a following of people there, Vic.
I don't know about that. I think that they're here for Leighton and Josh.
That's somebody probably spread the word. Leighton's on the air. We got to go listen.
It's not because of me, believe me. Hey, here's the deal. A lot of people came up to me in Ohio, and I appreciated all the wow, it's you and all that and everything, but I'm just a regular guy, just like you guys.
Right.
I do what I do. I appreciate everybody making me feel really good, but I'm just a regular guy like anyone else.
Yeah, especially like a guy like me, like I said, I just started detecting in 2013, and
right.
to be invited to go to such a great event in Ohio, I mean, it was it's something I will never ever forget. It was even if I didn't find anything, just to be able to, you sit there and you listen. You got Leighton right there, and then you got Kurt from the Hoover Boys, and Brad, and you got Digging with Eddie, and Two-Tone Joe, and you got Sam, and these people are, they're interested, and they know who you are. Like, oh, you're fine, It's just awe-inspiring. It's just something that I will cherish the rest of my life. It's just awesome.
Speaking of which, I think we've got someone on here who'd like to say a few things to you. Go ahead, caller.
Absolutely. This is Sam. How are you doing?
Hey, Sam.
Hey, I just wanted to personally thank you again for coming out and helping us out, and I hope that you are on board for next year.
Like I would do it every weekend if I could. I would definitely nothing to hold me back from coming back next year.
We were just talking about that before the show. Vic's like, I wish I could drive up there every weekend.
I actually can. So anytime that you are in the area, you need to let me know, and I can set up a time for us to go back out there. Because there's, even though we found the spot on the second day, there's more out there. There's, a couple other areas I wanted to hit on personally, and with, being pretty good friends with the landowner and friending them so well, and she loved you guys. She loved everybody out there. We do have that opportunity. So anytime you're free and you're this way, just let me know.
I appreciate it. I was actually talking to my wife. I haven't talked to Eddie or Joe yet, but I'm planning on, if they'll allow me, to come up and, do a weekend hunt, maybe this, coming up soon or in the spring. And if I get up there, I would definitely give you a call, and maybe we'll meet up and hit the woods.
Absolutely. That'd be great. Yeah, I just wanted to thank you. I didn't really get to go around and thank everybody while everybody was there. It was kind of crazy there trying to keep up with everything, but I do appreciate you coming out.
To speak to you.
I'm sorry, just grab me by the hair or something, Hey, talk to me for a minute.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember, but Sunday morning I walked by your room, you had all those boxes, I was like, you need any help? And you looked like you had like 20 things going on. You were like, no, I'm fine. I said, okay,
I'm sorry.
Let me know.
I'm sorry. I knew that I had to get all of that stuff loaded out of there before we left because, for checkout and stuff. And it was a little crazy. I had to get up a little bit earlier because I had so much stuff to pack in my truck, and not all of it would even fit. I mean, I had to have Jeff Fisher, follow me down here to bring relics and stuff, and now that I have them, I have to load them back in my truck tomorrow. We're actually meeting with the museum curator and the president of the Historical Society tomorrow. So we get to display, they get to see, and it's going to be a great time tomorrow. We'll give you guys a follow-up, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely take a bunch of pictures when everything is displayed and posted. So
we want to see it. We want to see it.
Yeah, they'll be laid out. We're going to have Steve Long there, who he wasn't able to attend the dig, but he was there on Sunday to see the things in the bag. So as he's opening or whatever he decides what he needs to do with them, pictures, absolutely. You'll see us all sitting there chit-chatting, talking. I'll shoot as many as I can and share those out there for everybody.
Yeah, it'd be great to see some video, too, when the displays are set up.
Oh, yeah. Wait, I don't think. See, we're going to be meeting at a place called the Algonquin Mill, so it's kind of like a large lunch area. where we're all going to meet and just, sit this stuff out on tables so that Steve Long can say, yes, absolutely, that's, that. And I know we had Josh Silva to do that too, but we had some extra items.
Right, but it never hurts to double check anyway.
Right. And he's going to help verify that ones that we might have missed already or something that we overlooked.
Yeah, because there may have been items there that Josh Silva didn't get the chance to see.
Yeah, and he did. He did apologize that he had to take out of there a little bit earlier on, and that's perfectly fine. But Steve is a Civil War expert, and he's been in it for about 30, 40 years. He's been on the Civil War Roundtable and has been to almost every battle site. So he's real excited about meeting with us tomorrow. But I will absolutely post pictures.
Yeah, I think that's going to be great to see. Obviously, it's going to take a while before these are all set into their displays for the museum. But once that's done, it would also be great to see photos and video of that.
Yeah, because I know a lot of people would like to save this stuff, and they can. If you want to, make your own. I've seen a lot of YouTube videos and personal things people have made, and I love watching it. It just makes me feel good that it meant so much to so many people, and it wasn't just my dream. It turned into everybody's dream. And next year it's going to be another dream, in another way. So I think we did great. They're happy. They're pleased. Landowners are pleased. Crew was pleased. It was good. It was good.
Well, and that's the important part. Landowners are happy. Historical Society is happy. That's great.
Yeah, it was pretty heartfelt. And we have Sarah Chadwell, who was there with her nephew Lonnie, who were related to Morgan.
Right.
He calls me almost every day to talk and to keep saying thank you. And I'll talk to her and stuff, and I'll say, okay, you don't have to say thank you anymore. It's okay. We know what we did for you. But I love her to pieces. I love Lonnie to death. They're great people, and they helped out so much. And they're willing to do this continuously. They want to. It's like her calling. She said that she has been waiting for such a long time for someone to help fill in these missing pieces to the story, and we're doing that for her too, in a personal level. That you can't explain to the public. That's a behind the scene that you can't. We're the only ones that get to experience that. Right. It's great. It is. But I won't take up all your time. I'm sure you have other callers.
As a matter of fact, we do have one behind you.
Okay, I'll shove off here, but thanks again. And as soon as we get information, it could be a few months. We're still trying to tie up some loose ends, but we have big plans coming up for next year. So
that's right. Just keep us posted, and I'm sure they know they can always tune in to be on Sight and Sound and catch those tidbits.
Absolutely. All right, I'll catch you later. Thanks again, Vic.
Okay.
We'll see you soon.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
And what team were you on, Vic?
I was on Team Sillo. It was me and the Hoover Boys, Keith Tucker, and I can't even remember who all was on. I think it was 8 people.
Well, we've got a Team O member on the phone here. Go ahead, caller.
Hey, Josh and Leighton, how are you guys doing?
Hey, good evening.
I think, Vic, you're forgetting that you were on Team O. You were on Kurt France and Brandon Stewart, Swansea Searchers team, and I just wanted to ask you one question, Vic. How many large cents and 2-cent pieces have you found?
Well, the one I found was my second one ever.
Nice.
Awesome.
And he came to Ohio for it.
Right.
Yeah, I always tell Eddie and Joe Toe, I said, you guys up in Ohio find large cents like I find zinc pennies.
Nice.
I guess the history in Ohio, compared to where I live, I guess it's a lot older. Even Sunday, I had to leave early Sunday. I didn't even get to go to the site Sunday to hunt. So me and Keith Tucker and John Shaw, we hit a school for like an hour before I had to go.
And I want to speak to you about that.
Keith Tucker found a large cent at a school an inch under the ground, 1831, I believe it was.
Wow.
And he found that after I left because I had to go. And then about 30 minutes later, I'm driving down the road, and I get a picture of Keith holding the large cent. He said it was an inch under the ground.
Oh,
I said, I can't believe it. Yeah. But, yeah, well, I just don't find large cents. Before we come on there, I was telling Leighton and Josh that, I mean, out of the thousands of coins I've dug, the silver coins, I had just one large cent in my area. But, you know, I don't hunt fields, and I'm sure they're out there, and I know they're out there. I just need to do more research. And so being pretty new to the hobby, I don't have the research part down, looking for old homes and cornfields and tobacco fields. And I know they're out there. I just got to do the homework and find them.
That's true. That's right where you'll find them, too, is in the fields.
That's right.
You know, they did all the planting by hand back then.
Yeah, the few fields I have hit, I didn't research. I just went out and started swinging. And you get discouraged because you don't find nothing but rocks.
Yeah.
But then you see on Facebook, you see guys, I can't wait till the field to cut, and people are finding reals and fat Indian. I've never found a fat Indian penny. Oldest one I found was 1864, and it was the version that's more. It's not a fatty, but they're out there. I just got to find them.
Right. You just got to go over them. Put your coil over them. You'll hit them. That's for sure.
It's definitely for not a lack of trying.
Right.
Well, listen, you know, even being in the hobby for as long as I have, you know, I got quite a few firsts this year myself. I mean, I got
you have.
You know, I got that cap bust $50 just a few weeks ago. It's incredible what the stuff is still out there, and you know, something I never thought I'd ever find. And not only just one cap bust, 2 in a row within 2 weeks. And then I turn around. You know, not to make you jealous. It's just I'm just trying to reiterate that even though we've done it this many years, there's still stuff to be found over there. If you don't go over it, you're not going to find it. If you miss it by an inch, you might as well miss it by 10 miles. Here's another one.
You still get surprised.
I do. And you never know where you're going to find it. I was hunting a school 2 weeks ago. The school was built in 36. I found an 1875 Canadian dime that's a super rare key date, and in mint condition, the thing was worth like $40,000. And I'm thinking, what is a 1875 Canadian dime doing at a school built in 36? You just never know until you dig it up.
Right.
That's true.
Yeah. I mean, I had one week out in the water. We had a storm earlier in March and April of this season. For some reason, this year has just been one heck of a Indian head penny year for me. I must have over 120 Indian head pennies this year. And just recently, out of 5 or 6 weeks, I'm working on tonight I got another one. So I think I'm at
78?
79, I think, tonight.
Wow.
Yeah, out of that one park. But I was just trying to, here's a first. Now, I got what they call a dead man's penny. I don't know if you've ever heard of that or not, but I posted it.
Cross over the eyes?
That's correct, yes. I got 2 of them this year. They're just so rare to even find. I don't think I've never seen one dug, ever. I've seen them in books. I've heard about them. I've never seen one dug, and I got 2 this year. So, again, 2 firsts for me after 40-something plus years. You never know.
Yeah, that's amazing. I saw one posted on one of the forums with a large cent, and they were talking about the dead man coin they placed over the eyelids.
That's correct. Yep. And so you never know, you know. And I always try to tell people, you know, because I always say, well, gee, you got good spots and everything. My spots are just as good as anyone else's. It's just that I really, to be honest with you, I know my machine very well, as you do too, Vic, I'm sure. You know, when you start getting silver after silver after silver and just wheat penny. I mean, I'm a cherry picker, and I do not even dig anything less than 7 inches anymore. I leave it.
Yeah.
I just leave it. I know it's not old. I know my machine that well. I'm not saying on the occasion that once in a while, you know, it could be something good, but for the most part, I know my ground. I know how long it takes for it to get to be an older coin, and I know what it shows up as on my machine. So It's got to be at least 7.5 or better inches deep, or I'm not digging it. I'll just walk away.
Yeah.
I hunted with Josh in Ohio. He'll tell you.
Oh yeah, I saw it. He's just walking along, and he's like, "Oh yeah, clad quarter at 5 inches, dime at 6,
Yep.
penny at 4." Nah.
I just won't touch
See,
it.
in my area, it's completely different. I rarely find coins deeper than 5 inches. 99% of my coins are 4 inches, at 4 or 5 inches at the most.
Well, that goes in.
Not sink deep in.
Right, and that goes to show you know your ground. That's what I was just saying. That's why I reiterated what I was saying. I know my ground. I know how soft it is in certain areas. I'll do a little test dig here or there if it's an area I've never been in. You know, some of the coins only go 4 or 5 inches in certain areas. But
I had a hunting buddy. I had a guy I was hunting with one day. He was telling me because when I go with my friends hunting, I'm not trying to brag or anything, but I always find the good stuff. How do you keep, every time we go, you find silver, I said, well, when I go to a new site, I'll get like a 1235, 12, a lot of times it's zinc pennies. But when I go to a new site, I always dig the first couple of signals just to get a feel of how deep.
Oh, absolutely. It's like a culture. You got to know what the ground is telling you.
Yeah.
Right.
And I had a guy last night on Facebook. He said, "What out of all the things that make you successful, what is the number one thing?" In my opinion, and I said, I know my machine like I know my name."
Right.
I mean, no matter what you're using, you got to know what it's telling.
Exactly. The machine is a tool to get us there, but that machine is only as good as the experience of the hunter operating it when you get out in the field.
And like somebody was saying, well, I was using E-Track, and all I did was iron nails. And I rarely ever dig a piece of iron, because I just know what it's going to be. I mean, I don't know how you explain it, but occasionally you might miss something. But every time usually 99% of the time when I dig a piece of iron, I know it's going to be a piece of iron.
Right. Well, that's good. That shows that you certainly know your machine.
Up here in New England, Vic, if there's been a house fire, an old house fire or something that's been on a farm, or if we have a bent square nail, it seems that those do ring up as coins with the CTX in the program that I use, the Deep Silver program that I created. So I do dig some of those square nails, but I will tell you, I can notch them out very easily. I'll just bring the sensitivity, a little less. That way, it knocks them out. And I don't, there's a fine line. A lot of times I'm up around 23, 24. But when I was with Josh out in Ohio, I was all the way down to 15. Just to get rid of some of the junk. And, but once I keyed in on it, it was good to go.
Well, see, and that goes to show it's you have to have that knowledge of your machine to know how to tweak it to maximize its potential in any given area.
Right.
Yeah, I have went over signals, and it'd be a great signal one way. Turn on it, and it knows. But I'm thinking, man, that one way, it was absolutely perfect.
It sounds so good.
And I stuck them, and they were coins.
Right.
And I'm like,
because they're on, probably they're on edge. I programmed
that in my brain to where now, if I get an absolute perfect one-way signal, perfect, I'll dig it. But it's hard to explain, for me anyway, to put into words what I'm thinking sometimes. Because sometimes I can go over a one-way signal, and it sounds all right. And then when you turn on it, I know that's not good.
Yeah, it's almost like it's almost like you hear that tone, and you know right away what it's telling you.
Yeah.
Well, it's on edge. Most of the time when something like that happens, it's usually on edge or on its side, it's definitely not a flat angle, that's for sure.
Right.
Because if it's a flat, if it's a 90, a 90-degree angle right to you, straight up and down, it's not going to do that. That funny noise one way, that's for sure.
Yeah. Or if it's right up against iron or on it or something,
right.
that'll skew the signal
right.
too.
Correct.
Yeah, I was at my old park one day, and I was going along, and this park that I hunt, I mean, you can hunt it for 4 hours and not get a coin signal. It's so pounded. Oh. So you're looking for something to dig. You're trying to find an excuse to dig something.
Yes.
And I'm going along, and I've got it in a 2-tone Ferris program, and I get a signal every 5th swing, and I turn on it. It's absolutely nothing. And I said, well, I'm here to dig, so I'm gonna go ahead and dig it up. It was just a memorial penny, but it was dead.
But you were happy to see it.
It was touching a horseshoe.
Wow.
It was touching a freaking horseshoe. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that goes to show you've also learned separation too by doing that, because a lot of times, in fact, when I got that cap bust $50 a few weeks ago, I had 9 square nails in the hole with it, and the reason I kept digging, I was pulling out nail after nail, and the person that was with me, I said, I know that's not what I heard. I know I heard something good. And, my pinpointer kept going off, and I said, you know what, I'm just going to dig a little deeper. I dug down, and I don't know if you saw the picture of the actual coin, but it's inside of my spade that I use. And I just could not believe it when I saw it come out of the hole. I said, I knew it was something good. Just one of those tones that, it sounded good to begin with, but when you pulled out all the iron pieces, that's why everybody else passed it up, because, it probably didn't sound good on their end.
Yeah. I was at the same park one day, and I'm going along, and I get a pretty good 1235 at about 6 inches. And it was, and one day I turned on it, and I was still getting, the way I got my CGX set up, I have it set with my nickel beam, hits high like my silver, and I have 1230 and up to hit high like silver.
Yep.
Well, I'm going over it, and I keep getting that high tone, and then I turn on it, and I can hear iron, and I can hear that high tone coming through. Well, I dig down, and I dig a lead tube. I dig down about 2 inches deep, and I got a huge ball of iron. I mean, it was pretty big. And then about 3 inches under that, I got an Indian head penny. That Indian head penny signal was coming through all that stuff. I could not believe it. I got a picture of it, all that in my hand. But I knew it was an Indian head penny. I knew it was there. Because I knew it was like 5, 6 inches, and I knew that was pretty big for my area. I said, I guarantee this is an Indian head penny.
Well, I wish our Indian head pennies were only 5 or 6 inches deep. Oh my God!
Right.
Yeah,
and much like with
5 inches in my area, it's old.
Oh man!
With Leighton's cap bust, he's saying, "Well, that's not what I heard. That's not what I heard." Right. I had the same instance with a barber half where, the signal told me it was there, and when I cut the plug, I pulled 3, 4, 5 nails out of the sidewall of the hole in different spots.
Right.
And it's like, no, that's not what I was hearing. Dug down a little deeper, and 1894 barber half.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, Josh. I was going to say, I'll tell you what, that happens to me at least once, if not twice, every time I go hunting. Yep. Where I know when I pull something out of the hole that's not what I heard. Especially tone-wise, because like I said before, many, many times, repetitively, I'm definitely a tone guy first. Then I'll look at the depth, and then I put those two together, and that will tell me whether I'm going to dig or not.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm a tone guy. I use my VDI after I know I'm going to dig it. Because, I got to set up. If I get a high tone, it's going to be dug. And I'll look at VDI just to look at it. It doesn't sway me not to dig it.
Yep. I'm the same way, Vic. I do the same thing. I'm not a VDI guy either, because I don't believe those numbers are all so accurate anyway. Yeah. As soon as you put an inch or two difference on each coin, that same coin, may ring up at a 1242 or whatever on the CTXs, be a nice silver dime at 8 or 10 inches. In our instance around here, 8-10 inches is not uncommon at all for a mercury dime. But you know what?
I've done barber dimes that were paper thin that were ringing up at 1230, 1231.
Yeah, they'll ring up lower like that. That's a very good point.
And it's a paper thin.
That's right. Yeah, it all depends on the depth and how thick it is. That's correct, yeah.
Yeah. I'll tell you one thing that I've told a lot of people that ask me advice on the CTX. Me having my nickel being set to hit highlight silver, I have multiple times got a 6-inch or 7-inch, whatever, nickel. I'm going over it, and I'm getting a high tone, but my VDI is jumping from 1220 to 1212 to 1218. It's jumping all over the place. And it's a nickel, straight up and down. But it was giving me the high tone I was listening for.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And if you were going by VDI numbers, you'd be like, hey, that's junk. That's garbage.
Yeah, you keep walking. That's right. Yeah. You keep walking. Absolutely.
You can't put too much faith in the VDIs.
Right.
I mean, I go by tone myself, too, obviously. And, that's that infield I hit when we were at the dig. That just stopped me dead in my tracks, because it's like, whoa, that's a nice, smooth signal. I hadn't even looked at my depth or target ID before I got down.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, I kind of threw depth right out of the picture when I was in Ohio. I just said, I'm here to dig. I'm digging everything that's at least repeatable, whether it's iron or whatever, because we just didn't know what we were looking for. But I just dug whatever.
That 2-center I dug, it was 2.5, 3 inches under the ground. It was shallow. It was right beside that dry creek bed. I mean, I hunted through lunch, and I'm going along, and there I got a 1230. And every 2-center I ever dug is like a 1241.
Yeah, big numbers, yeah.
I was thinking, man, 1230, that could be something good. 2.5, 3 inches down, popped out that 1865 2-center.
Right.
Now, was that the first one you've ever found?
No, I found 4 or 5 of them.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, and you've done very well for your coin finds.
Yeah. Like Leighton was saying, when I dug that 2-center, I'm thinking to myself, there's no way that was giving me that signal, because in my back of my mind, I knew what a 2-center rang in at. I'm thinking there's got to be a nickel, a shield nickel, or something. There's got to be something else in the hole with this thing. But it wasn't.
Did it ring up lower for you than normal or something?
Yeah, it rang up about 10 points lower, because I was saying the 2-centers I've dug here they air test at 1241. That one was a dead solid 1230.
Now, see, 1241 over here, something like that would be a silver coin to us.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it just goes to show how sometimes the different geographic areas, sometimes that signal could the numbers could raise or lower based on what you're used to seeing because of the ground content or whatever, mineralization. Who knows?
Yeah.
But I'll tell you though, Josh.
With the CTX, your Ferris coin and ground coin. I mean, they'll tell you numbers all different, but not that dramatic. I don't believe.
Right.
Well,
you were saying, Leighton?
I was just going to say to you and Vic that, you saw me dig the seated dime, but I called that, and I knew it was a silver dime even before I dug it. And you know what? Lo and behold, here's where the depth difference comes in, Vic, because Josh was right near me. I said, look, I've got a piece of silver here. I want you to come over and watch me dig it. Sure enough, it was only 2.5 inches deep, an 1875 seated dime.
Yeah, I couldn't have been 10 feet from him probably, and he's like, ooh, this is a good signal. I bet I got silver here, buddy. Come on over and watch this.
Yeah. So, I popped it out, and it was, actually, I didn't know what it was, because when I popped it out, it was on the reverse side showing. So, it was either a bobber or it was a seated, and lo and behold, it was a seated. Thank God.
Yeah, nice find. We've got a caller. Go ahead, caller.
Hey, I'm a long-time listener and a long-time caller.
Yes, you are, Mr. Strahan. Nice to hear from you, buddy.
I just wanted your guest has talked a lot about using the CTX 3030, but something that I don't use that Mind Lab, but for the users that do use the Mind Lab, how about give his normal settings on that for his everyday usage?
Yeah, that's a good question. Maybe he's got a little enlightenment on that he may like to share with everyone. I know he seems to like the Ferris coin setting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I run an open combined Ferris coin, wide open screen, and like I was saying earlier, I keep my nickel bin and from 1230 and up to hit high. So a nickel for me is going to ring up just like a silver quarter or a silver dime. And the reason I do that personally is because, like, if I'm going, because I'm a cherry picker too, if I'm in a park and I've got my nickels to hit my mid-tone, after 2 or 3 hours of hearing bottle cap, bottle cap, bottle cap, my brain just tunes out that nickel sound.
Right.
End of the day, I don't have any nickels. And, nickel's a nickel. But, I still want to find buffaloes and V nickels and shield nickels. So I was playing around one night, and it comes to me, because I got a good friend on YouTube called Dirt Fishing, Bill Salver.
Oh, yeah, I follow them.
Yeah, see, that CTX he has in his videos is the one I've got now. I traded for it. Anyway, on one of his videos, he had his nickel bin set high, and I thought that was pretty interesting. And so ever since I started doing that, I kill the nickels, and I've dug a few gold rings that hit, in the nickel bin.
Right, that's why I like digging that nickel range. Of course, I'm sure Leighton will agree too.
I can run through a trashy part and run no discrimination and just pick out nickels and quarters, dimes, whatever. Ever have to slow down. Look at the screen every time and say, oh, is this a 1218 or is this 1213? So it just that's the good thing about the CTX is you can customize it to exactly how you want it. So
that's true.
Here's another little tidbit too. I know he was asking, what your settings are here, and I used it in Ohio, believe it or not. And I'll tell you why I used it. My saltwater mode was on all the time, and the reason why a lot of people say, well, gee, you're out in the middle of the Midwest, you really don't need the saltwater setting. But I'm going to tell you a little bit. This might make you think a little differently. When the clouds are sucking up the water, a lot of that water, our Earth is 2/3 ocean water, and only 1/3 of land. So when it rains salt water, believe it or not. So, for the last couple, 300 years, 3 centuries of rainwater falling down in a particular spot, lo and behold, you do have salt in your area too, no matter where you live. So whether you're out in the middle of Arizona or you're over on the East Coast or the West Coast, I'm a big believer in using the saltwater mode, and that's why I mentioned it to Josh, and he can confirm that with that setting, for some reason, it knocks out all that salinity, and it really gives you the penetration that you need.
Yeah, I was using the saltwater setting on mine as well, and the last day of the hunt, actually, you and I were standing up on that ridge for a while talking with Susie Wise about hers.
Right, exactly, yep.
So, what kind of auto sensitivity do you guys usually see?
Well, like I was saying earlier, here on the East Coast in a lot of my parks, I can go 23, 24, and that's usually right around auto setting. But today, I was down around 15 or 16, and when I was in Ohio, I was down 14, 15, 16. I couldn't go any higher because there was so much iron in the ground. It was too much chatter for them.
Yeah,
so it depends on what ground you're in.
Usually around my area, auto, usually I'm running at 23, 21 and 23 on auto. But there's one place that I hunt, and it goes to auto 30. It's just, I don't know why.
I've
Yeah, I'm fortunate enough that around here I can pretty much run close to wide open most of the time.
Wow.
But I can't run in manual because usually I'm hunting in houses right next to power lines, and I'll put it on manual 20, and it's just it just I can't deal with it.
Oh yeah, too much chatter.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, you got to be sure you're stable. Otherwise, your finds are, it's harder to pick them out from the signals for some.
Yeah. All right, Josh, I'm going to get off here. I just want to interject two things. Remember, Christmas is coming up, and there's two things you can definitely not live without for Christmas.
A doodad's tether ring.
Detecting doodads and American Digger magazine.
There you go. Well, thanks for the call, Kevin. Oh. Well, out of the finds that you have made in the last 2 years, what has, is there anything that jumps specifically to the front of your mind as being your favorite, maybe not necessarily because of value, maybe it's the story behind it?
Well, it's hard. I'm sure a lot of you guys that follow me. I found last December, I found a 1694 Austrian coin that was soldered into a sterling silver watch fob. I found that at an old girls' private school I hunt, and across the street down in the woods there's an old Victorian house that burned. And dead of winter, might have met a big patch of poison oak. I had forgotten it was there. I paid for the price later on, but anyway, about 5 inches down at the base of the oak tree, I dig this big silver thing, and I didn't know what it was, and I got to looking at it, and I saw 1694 on it. And I had a heart attack in the woods.
I'll bet.
I cleaned it up, and it made. I posted it to Mine Lab, and they put it on their success stories for the month. And
nice.
It's pretty neat, and I found a solid gold pocket watch at the girls' school, and it's hard to pick between that and that. Before I started posting on Facebook, last year, the girls' school that I hunt, it's very strict. They don't let anybody up there. Nobody's ever detected it. It's been there since 1894. Rich girls from around the world go there.
Apparently, if they were dropping solid gold pocket watches.
Yeah. Henry Ford's granddaughter went there. George O'Keeffe, the famous painter, went there. I found literally every signal knows no trash. You dig everything. Every signal was either silver or gold. I dug since I started detecting that. I can only go there when the girls are not there, like on Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter break. I found well over 50 to 60 pieces of gold, and I've dug well over 200 silver coins there, and I don't know, 75 to 80 pieces of sterling silver. It's just amazing. It was mind blowing. I mean, my average day there, I would dig 2 gold rings, 3 silver rings.
You feeling sick yet, Leighton?
I'm on my way.
I think I've got to go get a Kleenex. I'm crying.
I am too.
my best day there, my best one-day hunt, I dug 18 silver coins, 3 class rings, and I dug, I don't know, 3 or 4 silver rings in one day up there. Wow. And it was just amazing. I can go back, but I furnished that place.
If I had a day like that, you would not be pulling me out of the woods.
I can tell you a story, but it's not for on air. One day, let's just say I was out on the field. They play field hockey, and that field I was digging. I was digging gold rings. I was in one spot, and it was just every signal was a bulb or a dime. It was a walking Liberty. It was a Liberty $50. They were everywhere, and my stomach was hurting really bad. And I looked up and I said, I can't make it to my truck. And the woods were across the field. Well, let's say I had an accident, and I just kept detecting. it was that good of a place. And I said, oh, well, there's nobody here, nobody can see me. I'll just keep on going.
Well, that's a new one. I've not heard of a situation like that.
Yeah, that was dedication.
Yes, it was.
And it was getting ready to rain, so I said, I am not leaving.
Right. Man, but I'm telling you what, we may have to put him on some spots in our areas and see if he can't find something like that for us, Leighton.
Yeah, I know, huh?
And going back to what we were talking about when we first started, the reason I got that permission is because the dean, he comes to my vet clinic. And I've known him, and my wife is singing the choir with him.
Nice.
So out of the blue, I think there is absolutely no way, because they guard that school like Fort Knox. If you drive around the drive-thru, there's 5 security vans telling you to leave.
Okay.
Wow.
But I just asked him one day, and he come to work, I said, hey, I do metal detecting, would you mind? And I'm thinking he's probably going to look at me like I'm crazy. And he looked at me, he said, yeah, it'd be fine. Come up there, and I'll introduce you to the groundskeeper.
There you go.
The first day when I went up there, it was Christmas, so he wasn't there. I pull up, and the groundskeeper guy met me out there, and he said, you have any problems, just tell him, mention his name, and that'll be it. Well, he walks away, and obviously he didn't email people and let them know I was coming. I'm out there in the middle of the yard, and I'm digging, and I look up, and there's 4 security guards walking towards me.
Oh, my.
What are you, they're really like, what are you doing here? And I looked up, and I said, I got permission to be here. And they said, really? I said, yes, I do. And I mentioned the guy's name. And they were like, oh, you have a great day.
Well,
So,
that's nice that's all it took then.
yeah. And I'm up there one day, and I'm digging, and I'm digging. I got a pocket full of silver. I got gold. My buddy calls me on the phone. And he's like, where are you going? I said, I'm over here hunting. He said, well, I'm going to come up there. Just to see him. And before I could tell him don't do that, he hung up. Well, he comes pulling up in the driveway, and he gets out of his car, and he has to walk across the yard to me. 3 guys intercepted him and told him he had to leave. That's how guarded that place is.
Wow.
That's why there was so much stuff there. And like I was telling Leighton, everything was 2 inches.
Oh my
I found an 1877 S seated quarter basically on top of the ground.
Unbelievable.
It was right.
Is it because the grass is so? I mean, the soil is so hard, or what's the story over there?
No, I mean the ground. It's it's not hard, and it's not super soft. It's just medium, and it's in between the two. But I mean, I've been there and I've dug a Indian head penny at 2 inches and move over and dig a memorial at 5 inches. It just, I guess earthworms and moles and
Yeah.
Well, it just goes to show you just never know sometimes.
Yeah.
Sheesh. I mean, all the Indian head pennies that I've been digging for the last month are all 8, 10, 12 inches deep.
Yeah, I was going to say, they're all like 10 and 12 inches deep.
Yeah, I just put out a video that had 5 holes right in a row that I dug, and I did it because it's to say it is one thing, but to actually see somebody doing it, and I've got my pinpointer in the hole.
Right, to go, I've got video to prove it.
Right, I mean, you tell somebody that you're getting stuff 12 inches deep, and they go, yeah, you're full of baloney, but man, I'll tell you, I got the videos to prove it. It's crazy. Some of them are 14 inches.
That's like Kurt on Kurt's videos. He'll show him, he got a TRX buried, and he's pulling Indians with that storm on that AT Pro, and he's digging them at 10, 11 inches.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
yes.
I'm like, that just amazes me. Just, here, you don't dig corns like that. You dig them at 5 inches, 5, 6 inches at the most.
Yeah, I had people giving me a bunch of flack there a couple of years ago when I was on this streak hitting silver quarters at 12 and 13 inches deep.
Right. Yep. It's just amazing. I guess it just depends on where you live. I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Hey, look at the Stand and Liberty quarter I got 2 nights ago, the 1919.
Yeah, that was nice.
It was gorgeous, and it was only 7.5 to 8 inches deep. Like I said, I don't dig anything less than that, so it was borderline, but it was giving me such a nice high tone that it was so repeatable. I said, "Oh man, I'm on my knees for this one." And sure enough,
Right.
yeah, right up. I was so used to getting a bottle cap every now and then that I thought it was a bottle cap when I flipped it out. I went, "Oh my god, it's a silver coin." And then I looked at it.
You laugh at my buddies. My buddies, they'll holler at you. I go, "Man, this coin was deep." And I'm like, he said, "That thing was 6 inches deep." That's deep here. I had a buddy today dug a token.
Yeah, around here, if somebody tells me they hit it deep, I'm thinking they're right there between 9 and 12 inches.
Yeah. My buddy, he's like, "Man," he said, "I dug this." He come over walking to me. He had this old token in his hand. He said, "Man, that thing was deep." And I'm like, "How deep was it?" He said, "This thing was 6.5, 7 inches deep." Yeah, that's rare. I mean, that really, truly is rare around here. Unless you hit field dirt.
Right.
But you go to any house in my area, and it's undisturbed yard, 2 inches. I mean, the house I moved into last year was built in '40, and I dug probably in my yard. I dug in my front yard probably 50 wheat pennies. I dug a Standing Liberty quarter and a couple of Murphy dimes, and I swear they were an inch to an inch and a half deep.
Oh man!
I mean, basically, you didn't have to dig. You just had to move the dirt with your fingernail and pull them up.
Now, I'll tell
my
you,
yard is super soft.
Yeah, that's interesting because it's almost like you're back in time, like when I started back in the '70s, because everything was 5 and 6 inches deep at that time. But you add 40 years of sand and dirt and leaves and compost and whatever else happens, between those last 40 years, and it seems like everything is almost doubled now. And of course, you've got a lot of guys that have walked over and picked everything that was that deep at that time. So
so we're having to go deeper. That's the advantage of the technology that we have at our disposal now.
Exactly.
That 1836 hard times token that I dug at my Civil War site, I don't know if you guys saw it. It was laying in the woods. It was laying on top of the ground.
Oh my God! Stop it.
Yeah, I'm thinking I may have to have a talk with Leighton after the show and see how much it'll cost for him to swing my way first, and then we're headed your direction.
Oh my God, that's ridiculous.
Man.
That's awesome. Hey, I'm happy for you.
Yeah, absolutely. That is awesome. It's great to hear, and you have done very, very well for yourself. You should be proud of it. You've done quite well.
But it can be a disadvantage because you can take a guy with a $200 metal detector that doesn't go deep. Well, he don't need it to go deep.
Yeah, I can see where it'd spoil a person for sure.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was saying. You've got, even though it's a cheap metal detector, they still fairly deep, 4 inches, 5 inches, and
and here it's all you need.
Right, exactly. So, and that's what's happened here too over the past 40 years. You'll get them metal detectorists that'll be in the hobby for, let's say, a year or two or less, and they're taking all these surface finds that once were silvers back in the day, and they're just out of range now for them, so they feel like there's nothing left. But the technology now is where we step in, where we can get them deeper ones. But back in the day, I mean, that's what happened. All it takes is one person to get one good silver every time they go. Next thing you know, there's no silver. So
because it's non-replenishable.
Right.
Yeah, my friends, they'll hunt a place and then they'll invite me. I had one of my good buddies. He said, "There's an old school we've been hunting since the '70s," and he said it's hunted out. And he said, "You can go there if you want to." I think I found 30 silvers there last year.
I love it when you tell me it's hunted out.
Places.
And they're like, "How in the?" And the funny thing is, these coins were not deep. I mean, they were 6 inches at the most. And I'm thinking, and it's a small front yard, and I'm thinking, how did multiple people since the '70s hunt this place?
Right.
And these coins are here. I don't understand that. I'm like, my first signal was a Silver Washington and a war nickel stuck together at 2 inches.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what are these people? I mean, what are they listening for?
Right.
I mean, they're right there. And they're like, man, this place is pounded out.
Yep.
Well, a lot of things come into play. I mean, I can't really say what the deal was and why they missed it, but, I know a big factor comes into play is a lot of people do not put their coil to the soil. A lot of them are doing this air swinging stuff that
Right, 6
know,
inches above the ground.
Yeah, so, as well as
I've
I
got
can
a buddy
stuff
that
in.
does that.
Yeah.
I like to follow them people.
I love them. I just sit back and watch them.
Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
I've got a friend, he'll swing his detector, and I swear it's 4.5, 5 inches off the ground.
That's useless.
And I keep telling him, I say, and he's the type of person you can't tell him advice because he's like, I can do it now. You don't need to tell me. I'm 60 years old. He gets offended when you try to. And so you just say, okay,
Yeah, he's 60
fine
years
what you don't.
Hey, Vic, he's 60 years old, and
you
got more silver than he does.
Oh, God. I think he's probably done 20 in his whole life.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, that's why,
Yep.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, sometimes there's a reason for the way things happen like that.
Right.
Well, folks, I think we're probably about the end of our rope, but Vic, I certainly appreciate you sitting down with us tonight. Some interesting stories there, sir.
I appreciate you having me on.
Hey, not a problem. We'll definitely stay in touch. Hang in there with me, guys. We're about to roll out. For everyone else, if you liked the show, you enjoyed it, click the hands, throw us some stars, show us love. Next week, who knows? You never know what's going to happen around here, other than we'll be back next week. So, we'll see what happens. But until then, it's time for us to roll out. Everyone else, thanks for dropping in. Have a wonderful night. May all your finds be good ones.